Okay, everyone, let us start with our Act 4 now. Act 4, Scene 1. I'll start with the synopsis. It says, after the flight of Brutus and Cassius, the triumvirate, that is the joint army of Antony, Octavius, and Lepidus, is gaining political power in Rome. So, if you don't remember, the Brutus and Cassius had left Rome, had fled Rome like madmen because they had got some warning about how much Antony had stirred the mob. The triumvirate, that is the joint rule of Antony, Octavius, and Lepidus. Just remember that this is a direct question that can be asked. What was the triumvirate? The triumvirate was the joint rule. The triumvirate was the joint rule of Antony, Octavius, and Lepidus. They are purging Rome of those who led the coup which toppled Caesar. Okay, they are even tossing away the lives of their own relations and friends. So they are like anyone who was involved in the coup which toppled Caesar. This means coup is like takta palat. In Hindi we say takta palat, which means like overturning power. So whoever was involved in the conspiracy against Caesar, they're toppling them out. They are even tossing away the lives of their own friends and relations. Antony is shown as ruthless, playing with the lives of friends and relations. He makes use of Lepidus as an asset, intends to usurp his power and finally turn him out. He has no regard for friendship and principles. So I just want you to just an analytical question. Now, from scene Act 3, we come to this conclusion about Antony's character, that Antony is actually a great friend. Like he's clever, of course, and he very cleverly does something that is beneficial for his own friend, like to revenge his own friend, that is Caesar. To revenge Caesar, he did all that, we can assume that. And he was so good in doing that, and he actually got the conspirators to get out. Now we'll naturally imagine that Antony is actually a great ruler because he focuses on justice system and everything like that, and on on telling the citizens the truth. But that is not exactly how things turn out. Antony shows a new side of himself, a side that is ruthless, a side that does not care about the citizens of Rome, not at all, and a side that is selfish, a side that is materialistic, that way, right? But we can say that about every character in this play. This character has no hero, no villain. Most of the characters in this play are gray. What I mean by that, they are neither like he very good, neither nor not bad. They are just like normal people. The same thing is with Antony here. I'm not justifying his acts, that what he'll do in this scene, but he does show a very different side of himself now. And Rome. Uh, so this we can ask that this scene shows a transition in the character of Antony. So this takes place in Rome, in a room in Antony's house. In Rome, a room in Antony's house. Enter Antony, Octavius, and Lepidus. So in Rome, in a room in Antony's house, there is Antony, Octavius, Lepidus. Just remember this. It can be a direct question even. Name the three members of the triumvirate. I'll tell you the meaning of triumvirate. Three people when they rule as a group, it's a triumvirate, right? Group of three people ruling. So Antony, Octavius, and Lepidus. These three people together are ruling. So if I ask you, was dictatorship achieved? Sorry, was republicanism achieved? Was democracy achieved? No. Even after killing Caesar, we're back to dictatorship. But the problem is now three people are there, Antony, Octavius, and Lepidus. Antony says, these many then shall die, their names are pricked. These people are going to be sentenced to death. We'll know further why are they sentencing people to death. Octavius, your brother too must die. Consent you, Lepidus. Lepidus says, yes, okay, my brother will also die. Octavius, prick him down, Antony. Lepidus says, upon condition Publius shall not live. Now, this is another Publius that is in town. One Publius was the person who says best of luck. I guess that was, or was it the old person? I'll just check a second. Publius is actually an old man. Popilius was the one who was saying good luck. Publius is an old man, and Publius Cimber was also there, who was the brother of Metellus Cimber, and another Publius is there, who is here upon condition Publius shall not live, who is your sister's son, Mark Antony. So there is another Publius who is the sister's son, nephew of uh, Antony. Antony says, he shall not live. Look, with a spot I damn him. He says, he shall not live. Look, with a spot I damn him. I condemn him with a stroke of pen. He is like cutting his name. But Lepidus, you go you to Caesar's house and fetch the will hither, and we shall determine how to cut off some charge and legacies. Go to Caesar's house. So Caesar's house will to take off the will. So this is a direct question that has been asked many times. Who was sent to grab the will? Lepidus says, "What shall I find you there? Shall I find you here, or at the capital? Either Lepidus will find Antony in a room in Antony's house or at the capital." So why are they cutting off these? What are legacies? Legacies, like you remember 75 drachmas and all those things. Whatever those legacies were to be bequeathed to the people of Rome, they want to cut off the charges, and for that they're cutting off people only. Okay, and who all are getting killed here? Lepidus's brother and Antony's nephew, who is the sister's son. His name is Publius. Okay, so all these people. Then Lepidus goes away. Antony now starts bitching about Lepidus. Of course, you don't write the word bitching, but that is what is happening here. This is a slight, unmeritable man. Unmeritable is undesirable man. Meet to be sent on errands. He says that he can only do small things. He is meant to be sent on errands, like small things, like for example, your mother sends you on errands like bring curd from from Saath wali dukan. This is an errand. Is it fit the threefold world divided he should stand one of the three to share it? He says that in early Rome they considered only three parts of the main world: America, Australia, etc. And etc. didn't America and Australia etc. didn't exist in their mental map. Okay, so the thing was, he's saying that if the world is divided into three parts, then Lepidus does not deserve to stand on be the ruler of one of the three parts. They're assuming that there will be three parts for the members of the triumvirate, three parts, and they and in that time when the people were not very well exposed to the outer world, they in their mental map there was no America and Australia, so they just considered the main what we called Eurasia continent. I forgot the name, but that main continent landmass of Europe and Asia and Africa also. So three landmasses, and he says that no, they don't deserve to. Lepidus does not deserve to stand on any of those. So he's only an meritable man, only meant to be sent on errands. Octavius says, so you thought him and took his voice, who should be pricked to die, in a black sentence and proscription. So Octavius very logically says that you have already taken him in triumvirate and asked him that who should be given death in a blacklist, black sentence, right? So they were preparing a list of people that need to be killed. Now he's Octavius is saying that Antony that if you really do not like this guy, why are we really considering him a part of a triumvirate? You yourself have made this decision. Antony says, Octavius, I have seen more days than you. This is a classic reasoning. Like, I have seen more days than you means I have more experience than you. And though we lay these honors on this man, although we have given him respect, to ease ourselves of diverse slanderous loads, it is just to take away blame from us and blame it on Lepidus. Okay, um, only to he shall but bear them as the ass bears gold. So he only to dump unpleasant duties. He would be a donkey. The treasurer would not be his. It's just a burden. Okay, okay. So what they're saying, they're comparing Lepidus to a donkey. Just as a donkey bears the gold, bears the precious things on their back, and work as a medium to transfer things from here to there, but that precious things is not really theirs. In the same way, they are saying whatever little work that we have, Lepidus is a medium for us. Lepidus will run errands, will do our little tasks, or and we'll supposedly give him the power, but that power is actually not his. Okay. And another interpretation of this could be that he is there, whatever slanderous or whatever work we do, we can blame it on Lepidus. Okay, so that's one thing for to ease ourselves of the burden. Okay, then he says that uh, this line, he shall but bear them as the ass bears gold. For Lepidus, it's the respect, it's the honor that he will bear it as the ass bears gold, but it's not actually his. To groan and sweat under the business. So he thinks that he has power, and under that power, he will do work and he'll groan. And just like a donkey is being forced to do nothing related to the activity that donkey is doing is for himself, and he's just groaning and sweating under the business. Either led or driven as we point the way. Either he is being driven like a donkey is driven, because when someone sits on the donkey and then they move, then that's driven, or led, or we are just taking his galle ka patta and then taking him out. And he says that once Lepidus brings their treasure to him, they are going to throw him away like an empty ass. So either led or driven as we point the way, and having brought our treasure where we will, then we take down his load and turn him off like to the empty ass to shake his ears and graze in commons. Just like common people, just like common donkeys, common animals are sent to graze in the common grassy area, the same way, and the donkey is no more treated as precious after he has done his work. The same way, Lepidus is there and he'll be treated just as a donkey, and after the work is done, he'll be set off in the commons among the common people. Then he says that Octavius says that you may do your will, but he's a tried and valiant soldier. So Octavius is a reasonable man. Octavius tries to defend Lepidus and say that he is a tried and valiant soldier. Antony says, "So is my horse, Octavius." Okay, so he is saying that my horse is a tried and valiant soldier, and for that I do appoint him store of provender, which means for that I do give him food. It is a creature that I teach to fight. Antony's horse is a creature that Antony is teaching to fight, and to turn, to stop, to run directly on. His corporeal motion governed by my spirit. His physical movement is controlled by my mind. What I want him to do, what I want my horse to do. Right? The horse will only horse has seen so much war, so many wars, so many fights. But what is he exactly? He's just making corporeal, which means physical movements, while the will or the mind is of Antony. Antony, right? And in some taste is Lepidus but so. He must be taught and trained and bid go forth. So Lepidus needs to be taught and trained and then bid let go, get let forth. And which means has to be motivated. He has to be taught things. A barren spirited fellow, one that feeds on abjects, oaths, and imitation. He's a barren spirited fellow devoid of true spirit. He is he lacks independent thoughts. He is dependent fellow, lacks independent thought, and does not have a true spirit. One that feeds on objects, abjects. Actually, abjects are rejected scraps. Rejected scraps is taken as a metaphor for rejected ideas. Odds and imitations means he can't really, imitation is copying someone, so he can't doesn't really have any ideas, he only copies. Horse is controlled by someone smarter. Lepidus is useful only when guided, and he can't act on his own. which out of use and stalled by other men begin his fashion, do not talk of him. Which out of use and stalled by other men, things which have become out of fashion seem new to him. So the things that have already, the ideas that have already been used by men, he reuses them, he copies them. And that's like that's has been metaphorized as fashion, like old fashion, right? Like in today's world there are trends, right? Someone starts a trend, everyone starts wearing that. So we are basically copying someone's style, but we are not really creating our own style, creating our own ideas. We are just imitating them. The same way they're saying that Lepidus is just good at imitating. He likes, barren spirited fellow. He likes rejected scraps. Then he says that which out of use and stalled by other men, worn out by other men, begin his fashion. Do not talk of him. He only follows trends started by others. Things which have become out of fashion seem new to him. Talk about him just as a tool and not as a member of triumvirate. Look at him as a property. And now, Octavius, listen great things. Brutus and Cassius are levying powers. We must straight make head. Their levying powers means they are raising armies, and we must straight make head. Octavius, our focus should be on great things because they are raising their armies. Therefore, let our alliance be combined. Let our alliance, like Octavius's army and Antony's army, let it be combined. Our best friends made our means stretched. Okay, so make we should make our make good friends. We should make other good alliances, so that we have a lot of people on our side and their armies also we have on our side. And let us presently go sit in the council. uh, Council is like a meeting to decide something. Our concentration should be on uniting our troops so we can make great friends and use them as resources. Then let us presently go sit in the council. How covert methods matters. Covert is secret matters. Like for example, if the government is trying to conduct a mission, then it will be a covert mission because it will be a secret mission. Covert means secret. How covert matters may be best disclosed, and open perils surest answered. How covert matters may be best disclosed, how unknown things may be disclosed to public, and open perils surest answered, and obvious dangers can easily be encountered. Okay, Octavius says, let us do so, for we are at the stake, and beard about with many enemies, and some that smile have in their hearts, I feel, millions of mischief. Okay, so let us do so, for we are at stake. We ourselves are at stake. We can get killed. Our souls can get killed. And beard about with many enemies. We are encircled by many enemies, and some that smile have in their hearts. Even those who are smiling at us may have dangerous plans against us. Even some of our friends could betray us in between. Um, Also, this is a back thing, background thing, that Lepidus actually does not have any political background. So Octavius is actually the nephew, I guess. We'll read it further. Octavius is something nephew maybe of Caesar, so he has political backing. Antony has been in this business from long because he has been a friend of Caesar and already a political person. But Lepidus does not have any political backing. Anyways, we'll read this, not read this, but let us recall the points again of what Antony says about Lepidus, because this questions comes. He says that he is an unmeritable man. He is meant only to be sent on errands. If the world was divided into three parts, he would not get a share. Then he says that we lay honors, although we give a lot of power to this man, but it is only to ease ourselves of of the loads of the blame also, and also of the responsibility. He shall bear the power as an ass bears gold. He will groan and sweat, although not one of the gold is his own, right? Either led or driven as we point the way, and having brought our treasure where we will. And then we will take down his load and send him to the commons in empty area to shake his ears and graze in commons. Then Octavius says he's a trident valiant soldier. Antony compares him to a horse. He says that my horse is also valiant, but so I provide him food only, right? Then it is a creature that I teach to fight and to do whatever movements he wants. It's my spirit controlling him. And in some taste, Lepidus is also needs to be taught and trained and bid to go forth, and he also need to be told to. He also need to be motivated, and he also says that Lepidus is a barren spirited fellow. He is a person who lacks independent thought. Barren spirited fellow feeds of abjects, rejected scrapes, imitations, arts, and he does not understand anything. Whatever goes out of fashion, he likes that, and he only follows trends and no real thought. And do not talk of him but as a property. And now Octavius, we should focus on better things. This is all he says about Lepidus. And with that, our act 4 scene 1 ends. We have to start act 4 scene 2, which is very short. Then we completed this in this video only. Act 4 scene 2. The scene takes place in Sardis in Asia Minor. Now finally the place is changing. It is not Rome anymore. It is Sardis in Asia Minor. Just remember that. Sardis in Asia Minor. Brutus and Cassius are in command of their armies. They are joining at Sardis on their way to meet Antony and Octavius. Brutus and Cassius are in command of their armies. They are joining at Sardis on their way to meet Antony and Octavius. So they are going to meet Antony and Octavius. Brutus complains that Cassius has offended him. Cassius too accuses Brutus of having wronged him. The two generals order their subordinates to lead off the army so that both the armies will not see them quarreling. Brutus and Cassius retire to the privacy of the former's tent to sort out the differences. So, before this act 4, whatever was happening was the together scene. Like everyone was either together or just at one place, right? But here, two separate things are happening at the same time at two different places. One is happening with Antony and Octavius and Lepidus, and one is happening with Brutus and Cassius. So we have just read the Antony Octavius part, and we are going to read about the Brutus and Cassius part. So where have the Brutus and Cassius fled to? They have fled to Sardis in Asia Minor. Okay, so here they say camp near Sardis. This play takes place in a camp near Sardis before Brutus's tent. In a camp near Sardis before Brutus's tent. In a camp near Sardis before Brutus's tent. Then there happens a drum roll and enters Brutus, Lucilius, Titinius, and soldiers. So two more characters, Lucilius and Titinius, who are friends to Brutus and Cassius both. Lucilius and Titinius are friends to Brutus and Cassius both. Pindarus meeting them, Lucius at some distance. Pindarus is a servant of Cassius and Lucius is a servant of Brutus. So who all are there? Brutus is there. Lucilius and Titinius are there, who are friends of Brutus and Cassius. Pindarus is meeting them. Pindarus has come to talk to them, who is the servant of Cassius. And Lucilius, not Lucilius, it is Lucius. Just remember that Lucilius is someone who will Lucilius is actually the friend and Lucius is the servant. Lucilius is the friend. Lucilius and Tritinius are friends. Pindarus is the servant of Cassius and Lucius is actually the servant of Brutus. Brutus says, stand ho. Lucilius, tell us the code. Give the word, okay? So ho and stand. Lucilius says, friend of Brutus. Brutus says, what now, Lucilius? Is Cassius near? He is at hand and Pandarus is come to do you salutation from his master. So he has come to greet you. Pandarus gives a letter to Brutus. Brutus, on reading the letter, says, he greets me well, your master Pandarus, in his own charge or by ill officers. Due to some changes in Cassius, in his own change or by ill officers, which means due to some changes in Cassius, hath given me some worthy cause to wish things done undone. Due to some changes in Cassius, have given me good reason to undone things. but if he be at hand, I shall give an explanation. This is a very confusing statement. What context it has to itself, we'll find out later. We'll just read it once again. Brutus says, "He greets me well, your master. Due to some changes in Cassius, we I have has given me good reason to undone things done. But if he be at hand, I shall give an explanation. I shall be satisfied." Pindarus says, "I do not doubt that my noble master will appear, such as he is full of regard and honor. He is going to appear with regard for Brutus." Brutus says, "I doubt him. Tell me, Lucilius." Lucilius, his friend, not servant. "Tell me, Lucilius, when you went to him, how did he receive you? How did he talk to you?" Lucilius says, "With courtesy and with respect enough, but not with such familiar instances." With courtesy and with respect enough. His actions are friendly, but I could not have open or familiar conversation with him, which he has had in the past. So, like, sometimes it happens, when you talk to someone, there is something cold with them. There is a cold war going, and you're not really aware of that. You're a part of the cold war, but you don't know that you're a part of cold war. So the person is friendly, but not as open as they are usually. So then you get to know that there is something wrong. So his actions are friendly, but they do not have an open, friendly conversation with him, which he had shown in past. Brutus says, "Thou hast described a hot friend cooling," which means that you have described a hot friend has turned cold. Hot friend is a not a hot friend like a hot person, but like a good or a warm, kind person. A hot friend cooling is a good or a warm friend turning cool. Ever note, Lucilius, when love begins to sicken and decay, when love begins to decay and wither, when the warmth will decay, it useth an enforced ceremony. It only looks like a forced formality. There are no clever tricks to deceive someone in an honest relation. There are no tricks in plain and simple faith, but hollow men, like horses hot at hand. They are like horses who are full of spirits when the riders get um, a hold of their strings. But when the going gets hard, the horse also has no spirit. Make gallant show and promise of their mettle, but when they should endure the bloody spur, they fall their crests and like deceitful jades sink in the trial. Come his army on. Okay, so for the explanation, what he is trying to tell Lucilius is that you have the kind of relation that you have described, that he was friendly, but he was not as familiar or open as he has been in the past. So Brutus explains that you have just described a warm or a friendly friend turning cold, a hot friend cooling. He says that when love begins to decay, when love is diminishing, then only a fake formality is left. You all would also feel the same about some of your friends, like, right? Sometimes your childhood friends, they're really great, you're very close, you laugh all the time, but a little time later the relation becomes constrained. There is nothing really wrong with you both, but it's the distance keeps increasing, your interests differentiate, and then only a formality left. You can't really be as open as you used to be with that friend. The same is happening. I don't know if it's happening, but Brutus is saying that this happens. So he's saying that a forced ceremony is left, formality is left. There are no tricks in there are no clever tricks or deceitful plans in pure simple relationships, but hollow men, false men are like horses hot at hand, which means that when horses are bought and horses are with you, and when you like pull their rope that is around them, उनकी लगाम जब आप खींचते हैं, that means that time they're very energetic. But when actually the going gets tough, when the situations get tough, they lose their spirit. The same way with those friends, when they really have to be loyal, at that time they become deceitful. So that's how he is compared to a horse. Then Lucilius says, they mean this knight in Sardis to be quartered. Uh, so he say, okay, so in the last line, Brutus said, comes his army on. He says that we can see Cassius's army approaching. Lucilius says that they mean this knight in Sardis to be quartered. Sardis to be quartered mean to be cut to pieces. Divide the cavalry will be divided. Okay, so Sardis pe jo there is this army. It has to be divided into pieces. The greater part, the horse in general, are coming with Cassius. So okay, so they're preparing for war. They're raising their armies, and Lucilius says that Sardis has to be quartered, like to cut into pieces. The cavalry, the army has to be divided into pieces, into parts, and the greater part, the horseman part, is coming with Cassius. Then sound of marching is coming. Brutus says, hark, he is arrived. March gently on to him. Don't show any kind of hostility to him. Don't be rude. March gently on to him. He tells Lucilius. Enter Cassius and soldiers. Just imagine whatever this was happening with Brutus, he's actually talking about Cassius only. It's not like he's talking about the other side, because it might seem the way he's talking like he's talking about an enemy. But no, he's talking about his own friend Cassius. Cassius says, stand ho. Brutus says, stand ho, speak the word along. Stand, stand, stand. Cassius says, most noble brother, you have done me wrong. So Brutus bursts out, you have done me wrong. Brutus says, gods, please judge me. No, sorry. Cassius says that you have done me wrong. Then Brutus says, judge me, you gods. Wrong am I in enemies? And if not so, how would I wrong a brother? So he considers him a brother. Now, another thing that actually Cassius is the brother in law of Brutus. They're actually related. And so Brutus says, judge me, O gods, wrong am I in enemies? He says that I would not even wrong my own enemies. Because, and that's quite evident in his past behavior. Even Antony should have been considered as an enemy because he was an enemy's friend. But Brutus didn't even consider Cassius an enemy because he was doing it for the general good of Rome. So no one is really his enemy. So he's saying that he would not even wrong an enemy, rather wrong his own brother. Cassius says, Brutus, this sober form of yours hides wrongs. Here, sober does not mean not drunk. That's the modern meaning of sober, that you're sober means you're not drunk. You're not drunk. But this sober form of yours hides wrongs, which means this serious appearance hides your wrongs. Okay. Grave appearance does hide your whatever mistakes you have made. And when you do them, Brutus says, Cassius, be content, be patient, speak your griefs softly. I do know you well. Before the eyes of both our armies here, we should perceive nothing but love from us. Which should perceive nothing but love from us. Let us not wrangle, bid them move away. Then in my tenth, Cassius, enlarge your griefs, and I will give you audience. So he's saying that we should not fight before the army only. They should only get the message of love, because of course, if your leader, if your leaders are quarreling, then of course your overall morale is diminished, right? Then he said, let us not wrangle, bid them move away. Then in my tent, Cassius, and larger griefs, tell me in detail what is wrong with you, and I will give you audience. I'll give you all my ears, right? I'll listen to you. Then Cassius says, Pindarus. Now, Pindarus is the servant of Cassius. Bid our commanders lead their charges. Commanders are the people who head the armies. Not really head, like second to the. For example, in this army, the second highest position to Cassius would be of the commander. Bid our commanders lead their charges off a little from this ground, a little far away, get away. Brutus says, Lucius, do you the like? Lucius is now the servant of Cassius. He tells him, do you the like, do the same, and let no man come to our tent till we have done our conference. Let Lucilius and Latinius guard our door. So who is supposed to be guarding the door? Lucilius and Latinius are supposed to be guarding the door. Come, he says, come to our tent till we have let no one come to attend till we complete our conference, and Lucius and Titinius will guard the door, whereas Lucius will take the army aside, and Pandarus will also do the same. Okay, so in half an hour we completed two scenes, scene 1 and scene 2. In next video which I'll be uploading really shortly, it will be about scene 3, which appears to be a little longer. Yes, it's a little longer, but that's fine. Actually, it's not even that long because the dialogues are a little short.